welcome back to the Squirrel Heat YouTube channel, and here is some quick thoughts on some of the Euro games, starting with England versus Wales. Now, England versus Wales, I had to watch the highlights because I was unfortunately at work. Boo! But I was obviously pleased to see that England got the win. The reason I wasn't ecstatic is because of the nature of the win. We all knew as fans that there needed to be a change. Team comes out, gets announced, and I'm looking at it on my phone when it got announced on Twitter, and it was the exact same starting 11, and I knew he was going to pick the same starting 11, and I knew he wouldn't have the bottle to make any changes from the start, which is disappointing. And what did it do? Well, you know, some will say that he shouldn't have got to it. I thought he should have got to it. Joe Hart, that was 35, 34 yards out, that free kick. Gareth Bale is a good free kick taker, no doubt, but Hart managed to get his hand to it. Well, I don't know what you really know. It's maybe someone can explain it to me, like why goalkeepers are doing it recently. Say you've got the goal there, right? The wall seems to be covering this part, and the goalkeeper wants to cover this little part here. Why doesn't the goalkeeper just stand central to the goal? And then he's got a 50-50 chance of getting to either side. I'm no goalkeeping expert. I am shite in goal. Don't put me in goal ever if there's ever like a little five-a-side or even just a fun game happening. I thought he should have done better to that. He looked like he was scrambling to get it. He got a hand to it but pushed it in the back of the net. Should have pushed it the other side of the post in my opinion. And then we go into half-time, 1-0 down, which doesn't look great. You're urging him to make a decision. Make a decision that's going to impact the game positively. And then in the back of our minds we're like, nah, it's Roy Hodgson, he's just going to stick with the same lot and probably put Milner on later. But all credit to Roy Hodgson for finally listening to the pleas of the fans who have been saying stuff like this for months and months and months, during friendlies, during qualifying, even though qualifying we were doing really well. He took off Harry Kane and Sterling. Taking off Harry Kane's a pretty ballsy move, I will say, but he wasn't being effective. He wasn't impacting the game in the way that he probably should have, like he was at Tottenham. He just wasn't getting on the ball enough, and his chances he did have weren't great. Sterling, and I have to comment on this, like without sounding either like a bitter Liverpool fan having him move to Man City. Sterling, he just ran the ball out of the game, and I'm not talking like out of the pitch. Every time Sterling got the ball, it just something negative happened. People I remember seeing in one newspaper he got a 6 out of 10 and it was a positive, and then like Kyle Walker got a 6 out of 10 and it was a negative. That was just freaking ridiculous, whoever wrote that. Sterling he wasn't impacting the game. Yes, he's our only guy who's got a lot of pace on the wings, but it's just not effective enough. Incoming for those two were Jamie Vardy and Daniel Sturridge, which means that you now have your most attacking front line of that time of the day, and it paid dividends not maybe 11 minutes afterwards. Daniel Sturridge just lofts a ball into the box, into the danger area, goalkeeper doesn't come out, defender Ashley Williams nods it on slightly, and Jamie Vardy from about 3 yards out, bang, straight in, 1-1, and it looked like he was offside at first, but I didn't see the flick on from Williams, so it wasn't offside, and we were lucky in that respect. For the rest of the second half, we were kind of camped in their half, controlling possession. It didn't look like anything was going to happen. It could have still gone either way. Wales were still being dangerous through Bale, but then it comes 91st minute or 92nd minute. It looked kind of messy in the box, but Daniel Sturridge, he just keeps going. He keeps going through one defender, through two defenders at the same time, and toe pokes it into the keeper. Keeper puts it into the back of the net, or helps it into the back of the net. 2-1, 91st minute. Unbelievable that we got out of that game with a win, and it's actually by cause and effect by Roy Hodgson's positive changes. By this point, Rashford had been brought on for Lallana as well, and Rashford played really well as well. He affected the game in the way that you expect someone like him to do. He had absolutely no fear. He was chasing down lost causes, chasing down players to get the ball back. He was really, really good. Very, very well played by Rashford as well. Sturridge had a really great time when he came on. He obviously assisted the goal unofficially, I think, to Vardy, and scored a goal himself. Looked really dangerous. Brilliant. What do they do next? You can't tell me that Sterling deserves a starting place over either Sturridge or Vardy. Now, if Sturridge doesn't make the team, that's okay, as long as you've got a better option that's coming on instead of Sterling. If Sterling still makes that first 11, that is going to be absolutely ridiculous because he doesn't deserve it at the moment. He's not doing it on merit. He's really not bringing it to the games. He's making England look a lot more vulnerable because we're losing the ball high up the pitch and we're getting countered on. Because what happens with an England attack, pretty much all of the midfielders, maybe one defender, and all the strikers are up front. He loses the ball, everybody now has to try and track back, and it's too dangerous. And he doesn't deserve to be in the starting lineup at the moment. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be there, but he doesn't deserve to be in the starting lineup right now. I would go with starting Sturridge and Vardy, just like he started that second half against Slovakia, because there's no bones about it. We need to win against Slovakia. We need to go for a maximum of 7 points to make sure that mathematically we don't get dumped out of the Euros. That's just how it is. People are saying we're going to be safe regardless because Wales or whoever won't win, or they will win and we'll be absolutely fine. We can't rely on that. We need to make sure we go out and do the best that we can. Give ourselves the best options as well by putting on like either Vardy and Sturridge, or even bringing in someone like Rashford, just to have that absolute no fear element. Sturridge with the skill element, Vardy with his pure finishing and pace ability. Unbelievable. That's how I would go. Credit to the England team for getting that over the line. 2-1 victory over Wales, which was well needed. If we'd have drawn or lost, that would have put us in a really, really bad situation. So credit to that one. Roy, you need to start those two, in my opinion. Vardy and Sturridge, Vardy and Sturridge, Vardy and Sturridge. Come on, let's do it. Other games to talk about very quickly. The Portugal versus Iceland game. Ronaldo brings out the baby tears again, and he's such a crybaby, which is why I respect his ability, but I'll never respect him like I would respect like a Lionel Messi, who he comes out after the game saying that Iceland played like a small country. Ironically, Iceland are the smallest country in the Euros. So if they play like that, it's because they are like that. Portugal should have been out of sight in that game. They controlled a lot of the game. Iceland took their opportunities on the counter, which is the difference. They scored a great goal. Don't get me wrong, Portugal scored a great goal as well. Nice pass from Gomez into Nani, and for a one-touch finish into the back of the net. Ronaldo was missing in the game. Is that his fault? Is that the team's fault? It's a bit of both, in my opinion. He's not putting himself about enough, in my opinion, but the team aren't providing him the service. Where is he meant to be playing as well? Because he was floating around the front line quite a bit, instead of like, say, with Real Madrid, yes, he does have quite a free role, but he tends to stay like nearer the wing these days, and obviously Benzema up top. Where's he meant to be playing? Do the team know how to play with him? Obviously, someone of that quality, you'd think, well, it can't be that difficult to play with him. I don't know. It was unnecessary by Ronaldo to come out and criticise Iceland for the way they played, because they played really well. They do not have the quality of players of even like Nani and Moutinho. They don't have those quality of players. Sigurdsson is probably the only one that you would really rate as the high-rated player, and he played really well as well. Just suck it up. You weren't good enough on the night, Ronaldo. Portugal weren't good enough either. Move on. Northern Ireland picked up a great win against Ukraine, which was totally unexpected from me. I didn't expect that whatsoever. I really didn't. I saw Ukraine getting like maybe a 1-0 win in my opinion. But it's really great. Northern Ireland, my sweepstake team, mentioning it again, just for those of you that, like me mentioning it. Northern Ireland, 2-0 win. Very, very comfortable in the end for them. Great result, and another one for one of the home nations. You can't knock that. And then the disappointment as well of Germany versus Poland, which was an eyebrow-raising affair. I don't understand, like, that actually Poland looked like they should have nicked that game, like at least a 1-0. Germany, yes, they opt for Mario Gomez, like, near the end, but not starting with a focal point throughout the game where, like, and I'm not criticising Goetze, because that's not really his position to be playing, like, a false nine or up front or anything like that. He's a midfielder being asked to play in that role, and I just thought that was ridiculous. Like, Germany with their quality should be able to have at least maybe got like a 1-0 win, but Poland were well up for it. They had a better attack. If it wasn't for Milik and his decision making to score a goal, there was one goal I think everybody knows about. He tried to header the ball instead of just kick the ball in the back of the net, which would have been easier. He would have got the goal, could have had them winning. I don't know, but it came out 0-0 draw. The one game you wouldn't have thought would be a 0-0 draw, Germany v Poland, but that's how it finished. Moving on to Friday, and we had Italy versus Sweden, which was a much tighter affair, and I think for the first half, Italy were pretty dominated by Sweden. I think they were losing a lot of possession, but at the same time, Sweden weren't creating the chances they needed to put away, which they didn't put away, and 88 minutes, Eder from Italy scores a goal, 1-0, Italy. Italy have won their games, clean sheets for both of them as well. 6 points on the board after 2 games. You can't knock Italy right now, who have one of the strongest defences, if not the strongest defence, in the Euro 2016. Onwards and upwards for those guys. Disappointment for Sweden by the looks of it. It looks like they will be going out like I predicted. Czech Republic versus Croatia. Controversial. This is what I was saying in one of my other videos as well. Don't think people really appreciated what I wrote, what I had to say about crowd trouble. Prime example. If you're a fan, say I'm an England fan and my team is 2-0 up, why would I then throw a flare that explodes right next to one of our players that I'm supporting and the referee as well? Why is that acceptable? It's not acceptable. It's unbelievable. And it was so shocking, like what was happening. Like obviously there was one of the Croatia players covering his eyes after that went off. The referee jumped, the player next to him, it might have been Rakitic as well. All the Croatia players are trying to calm their fans down, and it didn't work. They're trying to calm their fans, plead with their fans to stop all the silliness that they were doing, and instead one of them just launches a flare at their player, lands right next to him, and it goes off. Stupid, absolutely stupid. You see what happens with Russia and England, who should have also got a suspended disciplinary charge as well, but we didn't, obviously, because it looked like Russia made more advances on us, the fans. They got a suspended disciplinary. This shouldn't even be a suspended disciplinary, really. Those fans are ruining it for that team, because Croatia played really well. And then after that, I think it was 2-1 to Croatia at that point. It might have not 2-0. And then, Croatia conceded a penalty, which is a stupid penalty. About 93rd minute by Vida, had his hand in the air for whatever reason. It bounced off his hand, penalty, smashes it straight in the back of the net. 2-2. That's how it ends. Croatia should have seen the game out, admittedly, but that crowd trouble was unbelievable. I think at one point you had 8 flares going off on the pitch at one time. It's unnecessary, and more to the point though, how are fans getting these flares and stuff into the ground? It should be impossible to get these flares and stuff into the ground with the security measures that they've put in place for these Euros. How are they even getting something in there that has even the slightest little bit of a chance of having a small explosion or a small loud bang or anything like that? It's just unreal to me, and we've just got to wait and see what the consequences are of Croatia fans' actions. And then we had the biggest result of the Euros so far in terms of goals, which was Spain versus Turkey. Now, not gonna lie, at the start of the match, and for the first couple of minutes and stuff like that, it looked like it was going to be a pretty even game. And then all of a sudden, after the half an hour mark, you had Nolito, who had an absolutely amazing game. Absolutely amazing game. You had Nolito, who had a really good game in my opinion, very, very good game, affected all of the play, kind of like Iniesta does as well, who found Alvaro Morata. Morata heads it in, 1-0. 34th minute, and Spain just didn't let up from there. A couple of minutes later, I think 37th minute, Nolito went through, scores himself, bangs himself one in, left corner, and then later on, I think just after the half-time break, 48 minutes, Morata again with an assist by Jordi Alba. It looked like the Spain of old. It looked like the Spain of old with some different players in. Really, really dominant performance. Turkey, obviously their main player is Arda Turan at the moment, but Turan just doesn't look like the player he was a couple of years ago before he got signed by Barcelona. Doesn't look like the same player at the moment. Was getting booed by the own fans as well. So I mean that's quite bad as well. Big credit to Spain actually, who weren't, I think they were third favourites to win the tournament. I think behind the likes of France and Germany. I think, not too sure on that one, but credit to Spain, they are putting the doubters to rest at the moment, including myself. I thought Spain were going to flop in this tournament. Looks like they're going to go through top of their group. Unbelievable stuff. Well done to Spain. Now, moving ahead to Saturday, which is today. Saturday, 2 o'clock, we have Belgium versus Ireland. Belgium versus Ireland could be a tricky one. Belgium haven't really turned up in this tournament as of yet. They got handled pretty easily by Italy. And Ireland they don't have the quality of players that Belgium have, but I think they play more as a team. I'm going for a 1-0 Ireland win. I think Belgium are going to slip up again. 5 o'clock, we've got Iceland versus Hungary. Hungary had an amazing game last time they played, winning 2-0. Iceland obviously put in a really good, solid performance against Portugal. They can take some pride in that, but I think that's all it's going to get them. I do think that this is going to be a 2-1 victory for Hungary. And then 8 o'clock, we got Portugal versus Austria. Austria, with the players that they have, they should bounce back pretty quickly. They need to. But against Portugal, it won't be easy, because Portugal will also be wanting to prove a point after the draw that they got, where they probably felt they should have won it. This is going to be a pretty difficult one, and I'm calling it for a draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. If you've enjoyed the video, if you would be so very kind if you could drop a like on the video, subscribe as well if you are new around here, and I will catch you later.